Welcome to PVT Express News. Subscribe to the channel and don't miss the hottest news of the day. Our news today includes the following content. How big is the difference between Ren Jialun's 3 classic hugs in the drama? Tan Songyun vs Bai Lu vs Li Landy. Love dramas use kissing scenes as a gimmick, but I think hugs are more touching. In his 2024 annual speech, Mr. Lu Run mentioned the World Tree Hugging Championship held every year in Finland. He said that hugging is very effective in improving personal mental strength. Because hugging can make the body secrete oxytocin, making people feel happy, relaxed, and warm. Today, let's review Ren Jialun's classic hugs with 3 actresses in the drama. Let's feel its magic from these 3 love hugs. 1. Tan Songyun, I didn't wait for you. I was so hungry waiting. You will definitely not forget the love hug of 6 yuan a pound of shrimp. In the 46th episode of Under the Brocade, Yuan Jinxia, played by Tan Songyun, was absent-minded when she was closing the tofu stall. After closing the stall and going home, she stood in front of the door, looking left and right, tapping her heels, and swaying back and forth. It was late at night, and thinking that he had just returned to Beijing and had many things to deal with, he should not be able to come. With a little disappointment, Jinxia walked into the house and slowly closed the door. Suddenly, a smile bloomed on her face like fireworks. With a call of "Sir," she jumped out like a rabbit. Across the street, Louis, played by Ren Jialun, deliberately slowed down his pace, waiting for the prey to come to the door. Jinxia is petite, and I wanted to describe her as a young swallow flying into the forest. Unexpectedly, she is much more domineering than a young swallow and directly bumped into Louis's arms. Louis's pretended serious face couldn't help but smile, with a bit of pride. He hugged Jinxia tightly, with the pride of the commander-in-chief looking down on him, and more of the joy of mutual consent. This little cutie Jinxia said she wasn't waiting for him 1 second, and the next second, she slapped her face and said she was waiting for him until she was hungry. The loving hug between Ren Jialun and Tan Songyun is so sweet, with the throbbing of innocent first love and the tacit understanding of an old couple. Ren Jialun performed a sense of hierarchy with micro-expressions. At first, he was a calm and majestic adult. After being tossed by Jinxia's naughty child, the mask immediately couldn't hold on, and the 8-year-old Lu hidden in his body was fully revived. At that time, when I watched this, I forgot to let go of the corners of my mouth that were raised into a hook, and countless pink bubbles floated in front of my presbyopic eyes. In the honey pot of love, who is not a child? 2. Bai Lu, you have done very well. She and Ren Jialun performed a love that spanned ancient and modern times. Bai Lu and his loving hug have long been imprinted in our hearts. In the 10th episode of Zhou Shang Rugu, Cherie, played by Bai Lu, stood on the city wall and watched General Gon die for his country. Her eyes were red. Yongchang was in danger. Suddenly, the enemy army was in disarray. Zhou Shengchen led the cavalry to appear under the city. Yongchang was rescued. Cherie burst into tears. The man she had been waiting for 2 years was right in front of her. She ran towards him regardless of everything. Zhou Shengchen, played by Ren Jialun, also ran towards her. In such a short distance, they seemed to have crossed mountains and seas. What family rules and etiquette of the Yi family, what secular ethics, they were so fearless. In the afterglow of the sunset, in the eyes of all the soldiers, they hugged each other tightly. Cherie blamed herself for the death of General Gon. Zhou Shengchen gently stroked her back and said, "You have done a good job, I am late." Time stopped at this moment, and the 2 hearts were tightly pressed together. He respects her strong soul under her light gauze skirt, respects her for defending the city, and for not changing her awe-inspiring righteousness in the face of the bloody storm on the battlefield. She pities him, pities his mortal body under the hard armor, pities his countless births and deaths behind each victory report, and understands his faith and perseverance. Mutual appreciation and mutual understanding, this hug far exceeds the love between men and women. 3. Li Landy, let's start again. We were tortured by the ending of The Flowing Water, and we tried to find comfort in their few hugs. In the 37th episode of The Flowing Water, Wei Zhao, played by Ren Jialun, left the slave fighting field, with injuries all over his body, and threw himself into the battle against the Wei kingdom. At night, Wei Zhao patrolled the camp and saw the medicine jar next to the tent. All the past events between him and Zhang Xi came to mind. In a trance, a familiar figure stood in front of the tent. Wei Zhao froze there, not daring to move. He was afraid it was a dream, afraid of waking up from the dream. He also hoped it was a dream, because Zhang Xi misunderstood that he had killed her master, and he did not dare to ask Zhang Xi for forgiveness. Moreover, this expedition was more dangerous than good, and he would rather Zhang Xi hate him than want her to take risks. Zhang Xi, played by Li Landy, threw herself into his arms, hugged his shoulders tightly, and said, "Let's start over." Wei Zhao opened his arms and fell beside Zhang Xi. He struggled fiercely in his heart. He did not dare to hug her, afraid that he could not bear her such heavy love. He lived for revenge and had long been indifferent to life and death, but Zhang Xi made him miss the beauty of the world. At this moment, he was so eager, and in the end, he responded to her and hugged this precious lost and recovered thing tightly. Seeing this scene, my eyes were red, and a voice in my heart rang, "You must be happy. How can there be no friction in the days of firewood, rice, oil, and salt? Start over, such a beautiful language." In the play, Ren Jialun and Tan Songyun, Bai Lu, and Li Landy hugged each other 3 times, showing pampering, appreciation, tolerance, and expectation. Their smart and layered performances made these scenes touching. Li's youthful love in summer, Zhou Xingqian's soul ties with Xi, and Wei Zhao and Zhang Xi's love restart. Which hug moved you more? To improve your mental strength, please hug more. I wish you full mental strength and full power. What do you think about this? This concludes our news section. Welcome to leave your thoughts in the comments area. Let's discuss it together. Welcome. Don't forget to give me a like and follow. Thank for all.